Did you have a brain tumor for breakfast?
It's been almost 30 years since Heathers transformed teen comedy with its morbid, biting satire of high school.
Me gently with the chainsaw.
In the John Hughes era of perfect movie endings and fun teenage shenanigans, Heathers heightened adolescent cruelty and darkness and made them very funny.
Grow up, Heather. Bulimia is so 87.
Heathers still feels edgy and daring today, and it continues to resonate because it exposes a timeless truth that high school, like the society it prepares us for, is a twisted black comedy.
Everyone jumped off a bridge, would you? Probably.
Before we go on, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe and click the bell to get notified about all of our new videos. Heathers primes us to look for meaning in high school drama and pain, and then it reveals that there is none.
Dear Diary, my teen angst bullshit has a body count.
The movie's stroke of brilliance is the way that it mocks the takeaway of almost all other teen movies, and that's the idea that our high school peers have a secret depth we've overlooked.
What we found out is that each one of us is a brain, and an athlete,
And a basket case. A princess.
and a criminal.
Heathers is saying no, they don't have hidden depth. They're just as bad as they appear.
Football season is over, Veronica. Kurt and Ram had nothing to offer the school but date rapes and AIDS jokes.
And there is no profound takeaway to the high school experience, other than realizing it's all nonsense.
Are we going to prom or to hell?
The character who understands this from the beginning is JD. After he kills Heather Chandler, he convinces Veronica to help craft her fake suicide note, knowing that people will eat this up.
I die knowing no one knew the real me.
Sure enough, people start acting like they had Heather all wrong.
Thought she was your usual airhead bitch. Guess I was wrong. We all were.
And they idealize the idiot football players too after JD frames their murder as a gay suicide pact.
Suicide gave Heather depth, Kurt a soul, Ram a brain.
The joke is that the community romanticizes these people because of their fake suicides, but we know they actually were just mean and dumb. They were in no way misunderstood. JD underlines passages in Heather Duke's copy of Moby Dick when he's planning her murder.
I've already started underlining meaningful passages in her copy of Moby Dick, if you know what I mean.
And later, Veronica dreams about everyone overanalyzing the words she underlined.
But I believe the word Eskimo, underlined all by itself, is the key to understanding Heather's pain.
So, the use of Moby Dick epitomizes the way that society will search to create a deeper meaning when it's not there.
I must say I was impressed to see that she made proper use of the word myriad in her suicide note.
But at the same time, Heathers is rejecting JD's version of nihilism. In a cast of characters where everyone's a stereotypical high school type, JD is the bad boy, taken to a grotesque extreme. He's so bad he wants to kill everyone and blow up the school.
Well, you're not a rebel. You're f***ing psychotic.
JD's full name, Jason Dean, associates him with James Dean and the iconic Rebel Without a Cause. He seduces Veronica with the appeal of a Bonnie and Clyde-style rebellion.
Listen, my Bonnie and Clyde days are over.
And the adolescent fantasy of a great love pitted against society.
Our love is God. Let's go get a slushie.
But JD's God is not love. He worships chaos.
Chaos is great. Chaos is what killed the dinosaurs, darling.
And he respects only the rule of strength.
I want your strength.
JD only loves Veronica to the extent that she submits to what he wants.
I loved you. Sure was coming up here to kill you.
Veronica's anger at Heather Chandler draws JD to her. He appears at her window as almost this instant response to her throwing her diary after she's written the words,
I want to kill.
So it's as if he's summoned, because she wants to kill Heather and the others.
You believed it because you wanted to believe it.
But ultimately, she sees through the bad boy appeal, and she rejects his choice to turn against humanity itself.
You know what I want, babe? Cool guys like you out of my life.
Yes, Heathers is saying that high school and our society are dark and meaningless.
I've seen JD's way. I've seen Miss Pauline Fleming's way, and nothing has changed.
But it's not saying that life is meaningless and not worth fighting for. JD's nihilism leads him to literally self-destruct, but Veronica finds real strength within.
You got power. power I didn't think you had.
She might begin the movie as a cool girl in her school, but to us, this iconic shot of her disheveled at the end is the real image of the ultimate cool girl.
You look like hell.
Yeah, I just got back.
At the end, Veronica reaches out to the only other person who truly understands how stupid and pointless social dynamics actually are. And that's the girl that the students cruelly call Martha Dump Truck.
I was wondering if you were doing anything that night. Maybe we could rent some new releases, pop some popcorn.
I'd like that.
It's significant that Veronica goes off with Martha and not her childhood friend Betty. Sure, Betty's sweet, but Betty totally respects the rules of the social hierarchy.
I know I'm not as exciting as your other friends. Do you really think if Betty Finn's fairy godmother made her cool, she would still hang out with her dweebette friends?
But Martha wouldn't try to be another Heather. She's seen into the emptiness at the core of high school society, and she's experienced real pain, so she has depth and character. Heathers isn't just saying that high school is a vacuum, it's using the school to represent society at large.
Now there is a school that self-destructed not because society didn't care, but because the school was society.
Screenwriter Daniel Waters said the film's message is a variation on something Ali Sheedy's character says in The Breakfast Club.
When you grow up, your heart dies.
So, according to Waters, the Heathers version of this is when you're 14, your heart dies. Heathers observes that the reason our teen years are such a dark, difficult time is because this is when we start trying in earnest to approximate adulthood and its social structure. There's a recurring joke of people blaming society for these teens' problems.
I blame not Heather, but rather a society that tells its youth that the answers can be found in the MTV video games.
And JD gets away with everything because he understands this blind spot in how society views adolescents, as if they're strange freaks of nature.
Society nods its head at any horror the American teenager can think to bring upon itself.
But the culprit here, according to Heathers, isn't youth culture, it's youth imitating adult society. There's a key moment when Veronica says to her parents,
All we want is to be treated like human beings.
And her mom's answer tells us everything.
Just how do you think adults act with other adults? You think it's all just a game of doubles tennis? When teenagers complain that they want to be treated like human beings, it's usually because they are being treated like human beings.
Veronica even compares her friends to coworkers.
It's just like there are people I work with and our job is being popular and shit.
The girls play croquet throughout the film, and this represents the civilized facade hiding a cutthroat game of domination.
Go ahead, knock me out. It's the only way to win.
It doesn't matter which individual is in charge because they're all slaves to the toxic structure.
I've cut off Heather Chandler's head and Heather Duke's head has sprouted back in its place.
The hierarchy and desire for power corrupts people.
Heather, why can't you just be a friend? Why are you such a mega bitch?
Because I can be.
The question that Veronica is wondering all along is, why does it have to be like this? Why can't her friends just be friends instead of monsters? And the best answer is probably that a strict caste system distracts everyone from the realization that it's all meaningless. Popularity is a proxy for things that we think would make us happy.
I probably missed my own birthday for a date.
In the same way, in the adult world, we fixate on status, money, and career achievement, and we try to climb the ladder instead of reflecting on what it all means. The real question of our existence is captured in the lunch poll Heather Chandler conducts near the beginning.
You win $5 million in the publisher's sweepstakes. And the same day that What's-His-Face gives you the check, aliens land on Earth and say they're gonna blow up the world in 2 days. What are you gonna do with the money?
And this is echoed in JD's question near the end.
Now that you're dead, what are you gonna do with your life?
So the constructs that we fixate on are really pretty worthless if we think about the fact that we're all gonna die a relatively short time from now. In the end, the movie gives us a little bit of hope that there could be a new rule of law in this school, and by extension, a better society could be possible. Veronica seizes the red power scrunchie from Heather Duke and she says,
Heather, my love, there's a new sheriff in town.
But it's worth noting that the filmmakers originally had a much darker ending in mind, where Veronica killed JD, blew herself up, and the movie ended with a prom dance in heaven, just like JD envisioned.
The only place different social types can genuinely get along with each other is in heaven.
Heather's Heathers also plays on our cultural fascination with the spectacle of teenage darkness. The movie involves bulimia, date rape, bullying, and suicide. It might be true that some of Heathers' humor would be hard to pull off today in the post-Columbine era and in the wake of the Parkland shootings. But it's worth noting that the humor in Heathers is never really at the expense of victims of bullying or cruelty. Instead, it's frequently using its dark topics to poke fun at society's flippant, ignorant attitudes towards teen problems.
Whether to kill yourself or not is one of the most important decisions a teenager can make.
With Heathers, Waters was actually making fun of the way that some 80s shows and documentaries, in his view, made suicide seem attractive.
But she was so pretty and so popular. I thought she had everything.
The high school performs concern about the wave of student suicides, but really everyone's enjoying the drama and excitement of it all. We can even connect this sick fascination to the problematic impact of a current show like 13 Reasons Why, which was accused of inspiring copycat suicides.
Can't you see these little programs are eating suicide up with a spoon? They're making it sound like it's a cool thing to do.
One of the most profound moments in Heathers is when we see Martha actually attempt suicide. After all of the comedy that's come before it, this moment is a reminder that teen pain and the risks of suicide are incredibly real and tragic. And amidst all of its humor and farcical pageantry, the movie drops in some kernels of truth about teen anguish.
Her soul was in Antarctica, freezing with the knowledge of the way fellow teenagers can be cruel, the way that parents can be unresponsive.
It's a ridiculous moment, but there's some truth in the words. We've seen nothing but teens being cruel and parents being unresponsive.
Turn that back on.
But what happens in the Society of Heathers is that real pain and problems are co-opted by the powers that be, and they get turned into spectacle to reinforce the status quo. It's a huge giveaway that none of the popular kids actually killed themselves, but everyone is obsessed with their supposed pain, while nobody cares that Martha actually did try to kill herself.
Just another case of a geek trying to imitate the popular people of the school and failing miserably.
It's still all about popularity. There's no genuine concern for people who are suffering.
Heather Chandler's more popular than ever now.
The film's memorable style comes from juxtaposing bright, cheery, all-American surfaces with a dark underbelly. This is epitomized in the climax sequence, which intercuts Veronica's and JD's brutal fight in the boiler room and the all-American pep rally that's happening right above them. The recurring references to the croquet and pâté,
Great pate, but I'm gonna have to motor if I want to be ready for that funeral,
emphasize the frilly, trivial surface of Veronica's life compared to the anger and discontent she feels. And you might be surprised to hear that Waters actually conceived Heathers as a teen movie in the style of Stanley Kubrick. The screenwriter even wanted Kubrick to direct it. The film definitely does reflect a Kubrickian view of society as rotten to the core. The cafeteria scene was influenced by the barracks sequence at the beginning of Full Metal Jacket.
Yes, sir! Bullshit, I can't hear you!
And Christian Slater was channeling Jack Nicholson in his performance as JD.
You're distracting me, and it will then take me time to get back to where I was.
Nag, 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 nag!
Heathers was one of the first movies to really investigate the trope of the pretty, popular mean girl.
Does it not bother you that everybody in this school thinks that you're a piranha?
Like I give a shit. They all want me as a friend or a
We can see the film's influence on so much that came after it. In the comic portrayal of superficial or cruel girls who run their high school, in stories about the darkness of teen female friendships. The most obvious descendant of Heathers would probably be Mean Girls, which was actually directed by Waters' brother, Mark.
Hi, Courtney. Love your cardigan.
Oh my God, I love your skirt. Where did you get it?
Gretchen trying to make fetch happen.
So fetch.
Reminds us of the characters in Heathers, making very a standalone adjective.
How very?
The slang and dialogue in this movie is endlessly quotable.
What is your damage, Heather?
Waters actually invented the lingo because he thought that copying actual teen expressions of the time would make the movie outdated before long.
Why are you pulling my dick?
But as much as Heathers has influenced everything since, the film was daringly dark in a way that later movies haven't been. To this day, no high school comedy has really matched Heathers in fearlessly going there and pulling no punches on the popular kids, high school, and society itself.
I just killed my best friend.
And your worst enemy.
Same difference.
Hey guys, it's Susanna and Deborah here. Thank you so much for watching.
If you're new here, please subscribe, tell all your friends, and please consider clicking the bell so you get notifications for all of our new videos.
And if you have the means, support us on Patreon.